in the continuing alignment and realignment by political parties for the 2023 general election, 3 governors of the All Progressives Congress have been to Port Harcourt to meet with their Rivers State counterpart, Nyesom Wike, of the People's Democratic Party. The governors included Rotimi Akeredolu of Ondo State, Kayode Fayemi of Ekiti State, and Babajide Sanwo-Olu of Lagos State. They emerged from the meeting after about 2 hours for group photographs, but did not speak to journalists. The governor of Ekiti State, Kayode Fayemi, however, said in passing that they came on a Salah visit. The development comes amid speculations over Wike's future in PDP after he lost the party's presidential and vice presidential tickets in quick succession. Also in attendance at Friday's meeting was the former governor of Ekiti State, Ayo Fayose, who has publicly spoken out against the emergence of the PDP presidential candidate from the northern part of the country.
Three presumed biggest political parties in the country, namely the People's Democratic Party and the Labour Party, have announced their presidential running mates and are now waiting for the starting whistle to what is expected to be a long, tedious period of campaigning ahead of next year's election. Critically, the All Progressives Congress presidential candidate, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who just returned to the country after a few weeks in Europe, is yet to name anyone on that joint ticket. In the meantime, 3 APC governors were on Friday in Port Harcourt, Rivers State, for what analysts say was a charm offensive to woo PDP Governor Nyesom Wike into the party. As we try to establish what really transpired amongst the comrade governors, we are now being joined by Abiodun Ajiboye, a member of the All Progressives Congress and Director, Media and Publicity Council for New Nigerian Initiative. We will talk about APC's search for a running mate and how this may be affecting the party's preparations for the elections, the party's push for Governor Wike, and what this means for intra-party unity and cohesion, the strengthening of opposition forces against APC's dominance of Lagos politics, amongst other issues. Welcome to the show, Mr. Ajiboye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for joining us.
It's nice to be here.
Right. We welcome you warmly back to the Salah.
Thank you. I'm back home here.
All right. Avi, do you want to?
Yeah, well, I mean, might as well. Now we don't know what the agenda for this visit was. We were just discussing it earlier. But let's hear from you. What do you think that was all about?
The visit of the governors, to... Well, politics is all about seeing opportunities and trying to take best advantage of it. 1. 2, what is wrong if we visit our friends during Salah to discuss issues of national importance? For me, we know that the crack in the PDP has become very, very wide and obvious. Wike has not hidden his feelings with respect to how they have maneuvered, manipulated, and out-maneuver him with respect to his ambition to be president and not even vice president. He has said it very loud that he's a lot uncomfortable. That being the case, there's nothing wrong in APC seeing an opportunity there and, stretching a handshake, with Wike.
So you're suggesting that there is really, they might see an opportunity there, like that's what it was about? If that was
the case, it's a good political move.
Okay,
the truth of the matter is that Rivers State is very important. And our APC stalwart in Rivers State, Rotimi Amechi, is having a lot of issues with respect to... so if we see an opportunity in Rivers, it is only good, reasonable, and nice politicking for us to take advantage.
The issue that I was going to raise there, Ajiboye, yes. You touched on it, but of course you also quickly,
moved away from it.
What is the problem with Rotimi Amechi, and knowing that this is the face and the 2 legs upon which APC stands in Rivers State, and he also came second at the APC primaries? One will
distant second,
but he came second.
Correct.
He came second.
Correct.
What will have thought that one of the first key persons that the Asiwaju camp will reach out to will be Rotimi Amechi. But it looks like the Asiwaju camp, and maybe by extension the party, is looking for alternatives in Rivers State. Wike has become the bride now. Obi was there to consult with him. Like we said earlier, maybe Kwakwanso will also meet with him. In the event that APC succeeds in taking advantage of the opportunity that presents itself in Rivers State, will you be dropping one son of the soil for the other? And won't that create another problem entirely if it looks like Asiwaju would dump Rotimi Amechi for Nyesom Wike?
Steve, you know how experienced our principal is, Asiwaju is.
That's right.
When it comes to politics. Asiwaju can hardly make mistakes politically. 1. 2, what is on the table right now is votes. How do we get votes? If Wike can give us votes, why must we be his enemy? And how does that, amount to jettisoning our own guy, Rotimi Amechi? No. But the fact is, can Rotimi Amechi give us the votes we need in Rivers? The answer is obvious. Maybe not, because there are too much fracas, too many disagreements here and there. So for me, speaking practically,
yes,
and that is the way an Asiwaju's mind will work. We visited Wike after the elections, the primaries. Wike is part of us. No, sorry, Amechi. Amechi is part of us, and there's nothing. But everybody has limitations. If we recognize Amechi's limitation with respect to electoral fortunes, we cannot be playing to the gallery and pretend as if nothing is wrong. If Wike will give us good votes, why not be Wike's friends? Being Wike's friends does not amount to disrespecting Amechi in any way. What is important to Amechi himself is that we have votes to win the presidential election. So therefore, I see this visit as trying to say, oh, we are here. How are you doing, Wike? I hope you are good. If you are good, we are good too. Let's roll.
Question is, what's the body language? What do we think the body language is from Wike's camp? Is he good?
Wike is a politician, to start with. And let me tell you the dynamics. And Atiku has been running for presidency for forever, I'm sorry to say. And he has been losing for as long as he has been running. Asiwaju has not lost an election before. And he would not lose this. We are strategists, and that's the simple thing. We don't joke when it comes to our opportunities, when it comes to harnessing our strengths, when it comes to a handshake with our friends. We don't joke. We are politicians, strategic politicians.
So for Asiwaju not to lose this election,
yes,
how important is the choice of the right running mate? I'm asking this because of the deadline that is staring you in the face. He will have to produce a substantive, running mate by the 15th of the month, which is why Labour Party, for example, has quickly picked Ahmed, Dati Baba Ahmed. We have heard that people who are either loyal to or speaking for Masari, the placeholder, are saying that you can't just remove him like that. If he does not willingly submit himself to withdrawing from the race, it will be tough. What happens if Masari refuses, or do you already have in your kitty his resignation letter? That's one. Secondly, we have heard Governor Ganduje of Kano State saying that Asiwaju has agreed to pick a Muslim ticket. Do you think that this will work in Asiwaju's favor ultimately, given that the Obi movement, who is a Southern Christian, is there? Kwakwanso will most likely pick a Southern Christian, and Atiku, who is a Northern Muslim, has also picked a Southern Christian, Okowa. All those parties have shown sufficient sensitivity to the question of religion, but then it looks like Asiwaju will want to proceed with a Muslim ticket. How will this affect his chances?
We don't know what Asiwaju will do.
What would you like him to do?
Yes. If Steve's question is something I want to answer, I will personally wish that Asiwaju will ask the North, give me somebody you can vote for. All we are talking about here is votes. Asiwaju will not run a presidency that will ignore the Christians. Never. Asiwaju will not run a presidency that will make the Christians a second class, make Christians second class citizens. Never. But the important thing is that whatever Asiwaju wants to do as president of Nigeria, he has to be elected first. Isn't that correct? Therefore, if I were to tell him, I will say, please ask the North to give us a candidate they will be willing to vote for. That, to me, is the most important thing. But, as the question on the table, Asiwaju has told the governors, please give me a candidate. The governors have given him a few names. Asiwaju has sufficient political sagacity to decide. We're talking about somebody who actually knows politics. He will decide and weigh his options. He will call his consultants and say, look, let us put this to scientific tests. Which choice is the best here? And I can assure you, whatever Asiwaju comes out with will be a winning path.
That's a very confident statement.
No, I know what I'm talking about, and I'm very sure of what I'm saying. Asiwaju is not somebody who takes decisions on impulse. He tests his decisions before taking them. But we can only advise in any capacity. Just like the governor of Kano said, yes, they had advised him. But I read that, and you know, most these days, unlike our days in journalism, these days you read all sorts. So you really do not know which is true. But what I read a short while ago while coming here is Ganduje saying they've advised Asiwaju and he has agreed. That part of he has agreed, I cannot concede to it.
Could it possibly be one of the northern governors that he has agreed to pick? It looks like that was part of what they wanted.
Well, the truth of the matter is that there are different interests. It is the onus lies on Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who is the presidential candidate of our party, to look through all options before him, to subject all options before him to proper tests of reality, proper tests of electability, proper tests of success, and take a decision.
Is this a decision he will be making unilaterally?
Not exactly, but at the end of the day, he has a lot to gain or lose from his decisions.
Let me bring you back to the visit to Port Harcourt by
the governors.
By the governors.
Yeah.
My concern here is, do you not see that the picture that it looks like we're sending to Nigerians is that the South is trying to build a Southern solidarity for Asiwaju, a Southern solidarity for the APC. So much so that the handshake that you refer to, the handshake across the Niger, you are now saying, let us reach out to Wike. Maybe let us reach out to Soludo. Let us reach out to different people. Do you not stand the risk of galvanizing the northern governors to also begin to think of forming their own solidarity based exclusively on their numerical strength, which may therefore, work against this solidarity that you're trying to build here? Because yes, even if Wike comes on board, who says that the northerners can now say, oh, if this is the game that you are reaching out to Farache, you are reaching out to Wike, you are reaching out to everybody, let us also think, let us come back together before, they're outplayed. That's a possibility.
You remember that the northern governors stood against some manipulations of the party chairman at some point.
Adamu.
Yeah. So if the northern governors can say, look, let power go to the south, we have crossed the ordeal of that gang up. The APC northern governors are very patriotic and democratic people. They saw a balance. They saw the future of a nation, Nigeria, and they felt, look, Nigeria should remain one. Any attempt to make power remain in the north is an invitation to anarchy, which an unfair circumstance, which they don't want to be part of. They have done very well, and I salute them. I continue to salute that decision they took 24 hours before that primaries, which says, oh, no, power should not come to the north now. It is not, it's against the convention. It's against the spirit of fairness, justice, and equity. Let power go to the south. Now, for power to go to the south properly, there are some orchestrations that must happen. Part of those reasonable and intelligent orchestration is that visit to Wike. The south must be, if we are not together, the north will not be comfortable with us. The north is already in our kitty, no doubt. The north will vote for us. There's no doubt about that fact.
What if Atiku responds with an alliance with Kwakwanso?
Will Atiku do that?
What if he does?
How can he? You see, is Kwakwanso ready to be a deputy governor, which he already has? So what position will
Vice President.
Vice President. Sorry about that. A Kwakwanso that I know wants to be president. A Kwakwanso that I know is interested in the top job. He has been interested for a while. Whether he gets it or not is a different ball game. But Atiku, to reach out to Kwakwanso, the equation does not look like a simultaneous equation. What will Kwakwanso be doing with Atiku? How? The most reasonable thing that can happen to Kwakwanso now is to be with Asiwaju, his natural habitat, his home.
As what?
Well, when we get to the bridge, we cross it. But the truth remains that I don't see the possibility of the North ganging up against that move. What will be the basis? Let me tell you, the North, especially Northwest, is comfortable with an Asiwaju candidacy. Why? They recognize that Asiwaju did his best to support their own, Muhammadu Buhari, and that spirit of reciprocity is very strong in them as we speak.
What about the youth? What's the strategy for that? So there's a word that Steve spoke about earlier. He used the word movement, and we've seen that being played around with the Labour Party. You see Peter Obi is really trying to rally and galvanize the youth, and that energy is there. What's happening with APC? And
just to add to what she has said, sorry, Otoba, there is an additional 10 million voters. 65% of them are youth. A lot of people think that what has galvanized them is this new movement and the urge to have a new Nigeria. What will be the response from your party for a candidate that is 70-year-old, will be 71 by the time he becomes the president, and therefore the youths are basically saying, do we really need the old guards anymore?
Is Obi 10 years old? How old is Peter Obi? He was born in 1961. Is he a kid? Is he not as old? Is he not an old man too?
But now, let's younger, and he has picked a 46-year-old man as his running mate.
Let us get ourselves right. Obi is a mere sensation. Is a flame. It will go like that and it will come down. Nigerians elections are not run on social media. It is not Obama. This is not America. Let's face it. Nigeria's elections are run on structures, physical structures. What structure does Labour Party have? I'm not even sure they have a councillor. So is that what we should be talking about here?
That's whole Labour. The new Labour.
There's no new Labour. Has the new Labour gone to election? Has the new Labour gone to election for us to test their strength? Of course not. See, let's get ourselves right. Right? Nigerian politics does not happen by chance. It happens by careful planning. I'm still going to talk about Asiwaju's plan for the youth. None of them can come up with that kind of plan for the youth. The plan we have in APC, Asiwaju's candidacy has for the youth is mind-blowing.
Tell us about it.
And let me tell you something. Every one of us involved in Asiwaju's campaign will have our children in the forefront. We're not going to run a campaign and start planning for the youth when our own children live abroad. No way. I stopped my own child from going abroad. Let's finish this election. Be part of it. Every one of us, our youth children must be part of this process. And Asiwaju is one person who knows the value of young people because he is a resource. Asiwaju is a resourceful person. He knows where the youth will be most useful, and he has told us repeatedly, every plan you do with respect to my manifesto must consider the youth most importantly.
Yeah, but how are they galvanized? Just a moment. Obi is galvanizing them using the social media. PDP, by the way, if you look at Banky W, who's running on the, for House of Representatives, Jide Adediro, who's the candidate for Lagos, is said to have picked Funke Akindele, 15.5 million Instagram followers, is 1.2 million on Twitter, etc. How are you galvanizing yours beyond asking your kids,
Steve,
to come out?
Steve,
yes, sir.
Don't let us continue to deceive ourselves. Elections are not run on Instagram. The number of rural dwellers who would vote in Kano, Katsina, Kaduna, Ilorin, Ogbomoso outnumbers the youth you see on Instagram.
But that's
how many young people?
Apathy.
Yeah,
that's because if we hypothetically change that entire situation and the youth are excited enough to come out because they found somebody who speaks their lingo, that's not going to be the numbers. Those numbers are going to be different.
How are we not friends of the youth? I've just told you our plan for the youth is not a matter of Instagram. We are the kind of thing where you are going to be seeing in the next couple of weeks with respect to the plan for the youth is unparalleled.
Okay, so it's in the offing.
I have told you that there's a specific instruction to say, look, let the youth be the center of your policies, of your manifesto, of the manifesto of Asiwaju. The youths are the most important part of that because without the youth, there's no future.
Yeah. Haven't
we spent our own time?
Should we expect that if Asiwaju becomes the president, yes, the youth will have a good chunk of...
The youth will be most prominent in that cabinet. I can tell you that for free. And I'm serious about it. The young people will be taken into serious consideration. Why? This country cannot move forward without the young people, without the youths. When you talk of digital economy, when you talk of digital future, when you talk of so many areas of human endeavor, even our security today that is giving us so much headache, it is youth focused. So when we have a government that cares about the youth and young people, then we have a future at our hands, and that is what the Asiwaju candidacy is looking at most seriously. So that we are not on Instagram, we are not on Twitter, it's not enough to say that we don't care about the youth. We are building structures that can accommodate the youth in very useful ways, much more useful ways than lying around the city and telling the world I have one wristwatch for 20 years. And right before he leaves that spot, internet had brought out 5 wristwatches. We don't run that.
All right, Abiodun Ajiboye, we want to thank you very much for joining us this beautiful Salah Saturday morning.
Thank you very much.
You are thoroughly batified, we can see, and we thank you. And we wish you and Asiwaju the very best of luck.
Thank you very much.
And that brings us to the end of the morning show today. Thank you for watching. Do stay safe. I'm Baraka de Salah. I'm Steve Ayoreni.
And I am Abby Owolawi from our entire team here in Lagos, Nigeria. Enjoy the rest of your morning and, of course, the rest of your day. Goodbye.